afternoon, morning, evening, whenever you're watching this. It is officially the new moon in Pisces, and it is a doozy. I don't know if any of you have felt any particular way today, but it's a very highly charged, emotional moon today. And you know, that is okay. The upside to that is it is time to be as delulu as possible with your dreams, with your goals, with your vision of your future. Now is the time to put it all out there. And you know, literally, you know, the universe is the limit here. So, in today's Pick a Stack reading, that's what we are going to be exploring is, you know, how to best use this new moon energy, but specifically like what kind of things could you do, or to call in what you want to call in, or maybe what things should you be focusing on that maybe you hadn't thought about before. So we'll get some guidance here. If you have never seen one of my Pick a Stack readings before, obviously we have 3 different stacks of cards here. They all have cards from the same decks in them. And so all you have to do is just kind of feel into which deck is calling to you, whether it be, or stack rather, whether it be stack 1, 2, or 3. We have some fun crystals out today. I was feeling the, you know, the darker vibes, the new moon, dark moon vibes. So, but yeah, so basically you'll just kind of, you know, ask your spirit team, ask God, ask the universe, like, what messages do I need to hear today? And then whatever kind of stack comes to mind, that is for you. If you find that there's a couple different stacks that are maybe kind of calling to you, you can't quite decide which one should be yours, I encourage you to watch the readings for, you know, for both or all of the stacks if you desire, whatever feels best for you. As always, please take what resonates and leave behind what doesn't. These obviously are more generalized readings, as I am not sitting here, you know, one-on-one with you doing a personal reading. So not everything may be like spot on for you and your situation. However, I always do encourage people to kind of file away anything that maybe doesn't resonate right now and see how it might kind of pop up for you at a later time. And then lastly, before we get started, I will have timestamps in the description for each reading if you do want to skip ahead. And in addition to that, in the description box, there will be links to how to work with me one-on-one. So I have my private reading is available. I have both single sessions as well as a membership option. And all of those details are down below in the description box if you are interested in having a full-on 1-hour one-on-one reading with me. With that, I am going to move stacks 2 and 3 to the side here. If you need a little bit of more time to decide which stack is yours, feel free to pause the video, but we will get going on stack 1. Just gonna move these guys over out of the way. Put this here. Okay. So we're going to start with the 3 tarot cards, and these are from the Unfolding Path Tarot deck, which I've said in the last several videos is absolutely my favorite currently to use. So we have the Lovers card, we have the 3 of Wands, and we have the Page of Wands. Okay. So in the terms of this new moon energy, the idea being with new moons that this is a time for manifestations, for dreaming, and, you know, kind of planting the seeds, if you will, so that as the moon then waxes into the full moon cycle, your manifestations can grow accordingly. So what I'm getting here is with the Lovers card. This is definitely about choice, about either choosing like a soulmate situation. This is not necessarily about a soulmate person. This is not a relationship reading, but a soulmate situation. So something that like you are, your soul is calling out for, or choosing to kind of play it safe, stick with what's comfortable, with what's familiar, with what's known. And I feel like with this particular new moon being truly about like get as crazy big delusional in your thinking as you can, this is an encouragement to pull yourself out of what is familiar and what is comfortable. This feels very much like hey, I feel like you're going to play it small, play it safe. So maybe we just don't do that this time and kind of see what happens. And this is very much a like looking towards the future, looking towards the horizon, and really pushing you away from what is familiar and what is comfortable. This being, a sailboat on this card. The wind at your back is God, is universe, is your spirit team saying like, let's move away from, again, what has felt really comfortable and familiar, because while it's not bad, it was beautiful, it has served its purpose. You are meant to kind of go out on this adventure. And now really is the time. And with the Page of Wands, this is a let's kind of fuck around and find out kind of energy. So again, like that whole like this new moon is all about the delulu, all about being delulu. Being delulu till it comes tralulu. But really that fuck around and find out energy, like, what could happen if I steer my ship in this direction? What could happen if I kind of just allow the natural forces to push me away from what is comfortable? And that means you have to open your sails, right? You have to open those sails in order to allow the wind to fill them. So if you keep them closed, the wind will still blow around you. You'll still kind of get somewhere, and potentially somewhere that you want to be, but it's going to take a hell of a lot longer. So you have to be willing to open up those sails and allow the wind to fill them and propel you towards this big, beautiful vision of your future that is just pure magic. I mean, we look at sunsets as being magical, even though they happen, every single day. But I don't know about you, but every time I see a sunset, I immediately stop, if I can safely, stop what I am doing and just kind of observe it for a minute. And so there is this emotional pull towards the beauty of that. And really just, you're being asked to focus on this just otherworldly beauty and magic of what could be ahead of you. And again, just kind of like throwing all caution to the wind, and allowing it to carry you forward, and allowing yourself the curiosity and, like, again, just not limiting your thinking, not limiting the possibilities. What will happen, like what's meant to happen will happen, but start right now with just opening completely up to any possibility. But it's definitely time to get away from what's familiar and comfortable. Okay, then we have the Magical Spirit Oracle deck. There is a place within me, still, calm, steady, eternal. Eternal center, guru, protection, peace. So this feels very much like kind of tying in with this card here being the water that you're sailing in is like, it's smooth sailing. Smooth sailing is the term that comes to mind. and you are completely protected. You have this big ship underneath your feet. Again, God is guiding you. God is pushing you to where you need to be. And you can kind of just tap into that calm groundedness, which again, if you're looking out at this sunset, like there's nothing else that matters but just moving towards it. There's no stress, there's no fear, there's no questioning where you're going. There's just kind of focus on that very peaceful sight of this really gorgeous sunset. So that's kind of your guiding light, if you will. Then we have the Queen of the Moon Oracle, the waning gibbous beauty. So this again, I feel like is saying, focus on the beauty of what's in front of you and not the fear or what ifs or uncertainty or sorry, I need a little bit of water. Or like worst case scenario thinking that is very easy to do, especially as you're being pushed out of what is familiar and comfortable. But it's really focusing instead on this like otherworldly beauty. So what is something that you want, that you feel is just completely out of the realm of your ordinary life? What is akin to the most beautiful sunset you've ever seen, or like the 7 wonders of the world? Like, what is so fantastical that like it makes you want to, brings tears to your eyes in terms of just how beautiful it is. That is the energy, the focus, the maybe even, a journal prompt of sorts to kind of guide you through a, new moon, manifestation ritual, if you will. So, yeah. That's that. We have the Moonology Oracle cards. These are the OG Moonology cards. We have Meditate and Contemplate New Moon in Pisces. I swear to God, I shuffled these babies. Did not pick this intentionally, but that's exactly where we are right now. So use this energy. Use that completely delusional, no limitations. And again, kind of that contemplation, that fuck around and find out kind of like curiosity, like meditate and really just allow yourself to go wherever your psyche wants you to go. Don't put any limitations or any barriers or any boundaries on what you are moving towards. Just hold that vision, and allow it to be, what gives you the faith and trust in that wind at your back. We have then the Moonology Messages Oracle, Moonshining, stay in integrity. So that in the context of this reading is integrity with your soulmate desire. Stop selling yourself short. Stop selling your dreams short. Stop assuming that you can't actually do the things that you want to do. Be in integrity with what your soul is like crying out for. And that is that focus. That is that North Star. Like, keep sailing, keep moving towards that. I love all of the like movement energy in the cards today. And then lastly, we have the Sacred Creators Oracle, the good kind. This I feel is like a nice little bow on this whole reading to say essentially like another reassurance that it's okay to leave behind what is comfortable and familiar. You're heading into a really beautiful adventure, a good adventure. Sometimes adventure in and of itself can be very scary because obviously it's, getting outside of the norm, getting outside of your normal routine, but it's a good kind of adventure. It's a good kind of uncertainty, because it means that you don't have any expectations, and whatever the outcome is, as long as you are focused on just allowing yourself to be guided towards it, like that outcome is going to be exactly the outcome that you need it to be. If you stay tethered, if you stay tied, if you drop anchor in the middle of the ocean because all of a sudden you're like, wait, I'm getting too far away from what's comfortable, then you have the opportunity, if you will, to kind of stay stuck somewhere you don't want to be. Wouldn't necessarily be like the worst thing. Like there's still, you know, beautiful things to see and experience, but allow yourself to go on this adventure and allow yourself to see where you are being guided to. All right. That was short and sweet. I feel like that's a good spot to end there. So, if this has resonated with you, if you chose this stack, one, I hope that you take the opportunity to really just, allow your psyche to show you where you actually want to be, where your soul is crying out for. I'd love to hear in the comments below, or you can come find me over on Instagram at your spiritual GPS. Let me say that again, your spiritual GPS. You can also DM me over there, but I'd love to hear how this reading resonated for you if you chose stack 1. So we're going to do stack number 2. We'll move our crystal over here. Okay, so let's start with, whoopsies, I got a little sneak peek with our 3 tarot cards. We have the 6 of Pentacles, we have the Hermit, ooh, and we have the Moon card. God, I love this deck so freaking much. They are just so gorgeous. The details of these cards are just incredible. Okay. Ooh, okay, I like this a lot. So what I am getting is, first of all, I feel like your Delulu dreams to focus on for this new moon are very like physical, material focused. So financial blessings, or possibly even like home related. So a new environment maybe, or a refreshed environment. But this feels very like in the physical, real world, as opposed to maybe a more like mental or spiritual or emotional kind of desire. And yeah, so that is where you're being asked to focus, is on, and I also get the feeling that maybe that feels uncomfortable, that maybe that feels shallow or materialistic, but it is so important, and you are so worthy of desiring all of the physical wealth and abundance and prosperity that you do desire. Like, you are worthy of receiving all of that. So open up and allow yourself to make that claim with this new moon. With the Hermit and the Moon cards coming up, this is saying, actually, this is why I just said what I said. I got a little ahead of myself here. You have to go inwards a little bit. You need to be a little bit introspective with why this might be uncomfortable for you to think about, why this might be an uncomfortable, or maybe not even uncomfortable, but maybe not the first thought you would have had in terms of what you want to manifest. Do some introspection, because I get the feeling that you've got some some inner work to do around worthiness of receiving physical blessings, physical prosperity and abundance. And again, both actual money and also just things in your physical world that make you feel prosperous. So the best thing for you to do in this new moon energy is to spend some time in a quiet space, journaling on, first, I should say, journaling to say, here are the physical wealth, prosperity, abundance manifestations I want to call in, and then allowing yourself time to say, now, why was that challenging, or why did that feel weird or uncomfortable, or why was it maybe hard to come up with anything, but allow yourself to kind of go a little bit deep and explore why there might be some hesitation here that I'm picking up on. And then with the moon card, this is again kind of goes hand in hand with this introspection idea. My goodness gracious, my throat is so dry. Winter is just wreaking havoc on my system with the dry air. These two cards kind of go hand in hand, because with the moon, this is kind of a warning, if you will, that if you don't take this time for introspection and for that kind of journaling exercise to like explore some of these things, you could kind of lose sight of what's being illuminated in front of you, and you could kind of fall into those shadow parts of yourself a little bit, which are, again, maybe I'm not worthy of this, or that feels, selfish or shallow or whatever to want that, which ultimately then creates fear around those things, because when we're, in a dark place, a lot of times we have fear because we can't see anything around us. And so the moon is here to say, hey, I am guiding your way here. And also this like lantern visual on the Hermit card, like we're providing you with the light, with the we're illuminating your path forward. You have to be willing to follow that illumination. So are you willing to follow that illuminated path to really kind of cast out those shadows a little bit, or at the very least start to be able to understand what is actually in those shadows? Because it's not just flat out darkness. Like there's things in there, there's shapes that you can't quite make out, but if you allow yourself to stay in the light and contemplate, observe those shadows, and keep focusing on the illuminated path in front of you, some of those things can kind of come into focus a little bit more. So that is your direction, your guidance, your homework assignment. We have Magical Spirit card. It's okay, I don't know what I'm doing either. Sweet Oblivion, Uncertainty, Fate, and Humor. So again, the shadows, are a familiar place for you to get stuck in, I think. And again, it's that uncertainty. And I also get the feeling that like you're kind of uncertain about what the fuck I'm even talking about. Like if you chose this stack, some of you might be feeling a little uncertain as to like, is this actually really for me? Because like this, I don't know, this just doesn't land, this doesn't resonate. But it doesn't land or resonate, or actually I should say, I challenge you to be introspective and say, is the reason this doesn't resonate with me because it's, again, uncomfortable or painful in some way to even go down that physical wealth dream path. And you kind of just like, you just kind of have to say to your guides here with this illumination, like, I don't know where you're leading me, but I'm willing to follow. And kind of, again, just like allow that to happen. There is definitely a sense of I don't want to say humor, because they're not like making fun of you by any means, but there's a sense of like of positivity in terms of like, oh my gosh, I cannot figure out how to describe this, but kind of just like, I know you're afraid of the dark. That's why I've got this lantern here. Or, because otherwise you wouldn't be following me. Like this kind of like good natured, like teasing almost energy, to kind of, that's what it is, like to kind of overcome the objection that they're expecting from you, which is, again, it's like scary to go down this dark path I've never been before. That, well, okay, fine. Then I've got this lantern. I've illuminated the path for you. So you just got to follow it. The dark moon, which is today's moon. The void. Okay. See, again, like you're being asked to like embrace the darkness and move and be willing to move through it. And that's going to be by following. It's not even going to be like, it's honestly, even with the moon card, like the moon on this card is not a full moon. In some tarot decks, it's a full moon, hugely bright, like all the things. This isn't even that. This is a crescent moon. And the majority of this card is actually very dark in imagery. And you have, again, like just a single like lantern, if you will. So you have to be willing to move through the darkness and trust that the path you need to be on in this moment is what's going to be illuminated for you. You don't have to think about what's on either side of that like illuminated pathway, or again, what's in the shadows. You just have to kind of be willing to go there, because that is how you're going to unlock the physical wealth and prosperity and abundance manifestations that you do truly want. You have to first acknowledge that's what you want, and be willing just to explore your worthiness to receive those things. And that's also a very dark and scary place to be sometimes. Blue moon, believe in the impossible. This feels very impossible. But it absolutely is not. It is more than possible, but you have to be willing to understand why it has felt impossible, and trust that you are being guided in the right way. It's not a false, guide. They're not tricking you to, lure you somewhere that, is dangerous. Moon memories, the past. Okay, again, why does it feel impossible? Why does it feel scary or uncomfortable or icky or shallow or whatever to want these things? What in your past has made you feel that you are not worthy of receiving financial / physical, in your physical realm, world, I should say, abundance, prosperity, whatever, again, that looks like to you. So again, introspection, journal on why these, like, ask yourself that question and allow whatever to come forward. It's what we do in NLP work all the time. We identify a story we tell ourselves, a belief we have, and we ask, okay, who is that part? What does that part look like? What does that part feel like? What is it, or who is it? And then we ask that part questions. Why are you doing this? Like, what is your positive intention? Why are you making me feel this way? And you have to trust your psyche to give you the answers. It's a weird scenario sometimes if you don't talk to yourself often, or if it's just not something that like you've thought about before. But it is so, it's such a beautiful opportunity for you to just hear exactly like what what you need to hear, what you need to do, what you need to understand, without the like logic or judgment or qualifications of anything, any external force. The distraction of shiny things. So that's kind of funny. That's kind of hilarious, actually, considering, shiny money, like things, right? That can be that's what we talk about when we talk about shiny things, the distraction of shiny things. But this feels like, again, I love that even in stack 1, this card was kind of this like little cheeky little bow at the end of everything. Like, you're not going to be distracted by having the shiny things. You are not going to lose who you are or your bigger, more, why can I not think of the word? More meaningful things that you want to do with your life by giving yourself a moment in time to shift focus to what prosperity and abundance do I want to call into my life? Because when you have those things, you can then do more for others as well. So this is, again, kind of a little tease, a little good-natured ribbing, that you are not going to be distracted by having the shiny things. So stop allowing that to be an excuse or a reason why maybe, again, it feels like shallow or superficial to spend some time focusing on calling those things in. Okay. I love how efficient everybody's spirit teams are nowadays. Or maybe my spirit team actually is the efficient one, I suppose, since I'm not, speaking one-on-one with you. But it's just fun to know that, like, yep, that's exactly what you need to hear. That is it. No waffling around. Gotta love the clarity. So that is it for stack 2. Again, if anything in that reading resonated with you, please let me know down below or find me over on Instagram. And if you do this exercise, if you go within yourself and say, why is it so uncomfortable for me to even think this way? Why is it uncomfortable for me to want these things? If you do that exercise and you realize, yikes, I've got some baggage here that I know is not serving me and I don't know how to get rid of it, let's talk about divine healing, which is where we do NLP work. It's 3 months of sessions once a week with Voxer access to me in between our sessions. So you can ask questions or just drop in various things, notes and observations and things like that in between our sessions. But that is the way for you to be able to take those stories that you realize, yikes, this is actually holding me back from accomplishing what I want to accomplish, being the person, living the life that I want to live. That's how we literally throw that out the door and completely change how you believe and respond to those same situations moving forward. So if that is something that while you're doing this exercise, you're like, I definitely need some more help to officially let go of this and move forward, in a completely different path, in a way that is very protected and safe, then let's talk about divine healing. All right. And with that, we have stack number 3. Move your crystal to the side there. Okay. So we have, the Queen of Wands. We have the Fool. I love the Fool in this deck. So cute. And we have the Ace of Cups. I was like, what is that? The Ace of Cups. Okay. Okay. All right. Grab some water. Okay. I feel like I want to talk about the Ace of Cups first. Because this card is very much about, like, allowing yourself to kind of overflow with blessings. Allowing God to to bless you so much that it overflows to those around you. And also giving yourself the permission to fill your cup first, literally, knowing that if you do that, both for yourself and allowing God to do the same thing for you, that is going to spill over, and it is going to bless all of those around you. You cannot, again, this is so cliche, but it's so goddamn true, and I have to remind myself all the time, and it still doesn't work. You cannot pour from an empty cup. So you cannot do for others what you want to do if you yourself are not filled first. So that is like, that I feel like is going to be kind of the overarching theme for your reading if you chose stack 3. And I get the feeling that perhaps you, like I, struggle with the concept of, caring for yourself first and giving to yourself first. With the Queen of Wands and the Fool is, again, in the context of this reading, really about looking at this from a different perspective than you have before. For you, stack 3, for your kind of manifestations, or the focus of your manifestations for this new moon, I get that it is very much about creating the opportunities to be your authentic, powerful self. So this is very much an internal kind of glow up, if you will. The Queen of Wands is kind of the manifestation, the vision. The Queen of Wands is the vision for you. So you are this powerful, self-assured, confident, and very just, you can wield your magic and wield your power to do whatever you wish. And you, right now, you are pretty depleted. And so the way to get to this vision is to flip the script on how you view the idea of filling your cup first, so that you can actually allow for that to happen. So the Fool is just simply saying, like, you need to look at this from a different perspective. You need to be, not only do you need to show up differently in your life, so that is your vision, like I shouldn't say need, you want to, and so your soul needs you to show up differently in your life. So you are flipping the script on kind of how you have shown up up to this point. But more importantly, the way to do this is to do this. And so you have to be willing to embrace that this is actually the most selfless thing that you can do. Whereas I think up to this point, it has felt very selfish if you think about focusing on your needs first or your desires first. So you have to be willing to completely flip this around and look at this as the most selfless act you can do, because the more you pour into yourself and the more that you allow your spirit team to fill you up. So really focusing on spiritual connection and practices every day, the more energy and magic and miracle working power you have to bless everyone around you that you want to. And that is like, you can be then that regal, like take care of everyone, but from this place of confidence and inner strength, instead of like a martyrdom, I would say. So yeah, instead of depleting all of your energy in order to help others, and essentially again martyring yourself for that, look at this as the ultimate selfless act, instead of being selfish. instead of it being selfish. Okay. Darling, don't you remember? You're a badass. Keep winging it. The fairy. Blessings flow magical energy. You're a badass. You are a badass. And blessings flowing. You have to allow that flow to happen. It's not flowing if it ain't overflowing, okay? Because you're gonna run out real fucking fast. Pleasure. See, again, I get like you have to be willing to please yourself. You have to be willing to go after what is pleasurable for you. There is this air of just like, again, pleasure for the sake of pleasure, like not having to justify why you want to go do something, why you want to be something, why you want to have something. Just go do, be, and have those things because it's fucking fun. Be childlike about it. Like, I want all these things because I just do. And then that opens up that flow of energy, which will then sustain everyone around you as well. Look at the bigger picture. This down here is the bigger picture. This is little picture. You are a little picture in this, and that's totally okay. Like, you're supposed to be. You want to be ultimately, but you want to be because you think that, again, up to this point, that's like the right thing to do. Flipping the script on that is you're a piece of this bigger picture. And so because you're a little piece in the bigger picture, the flow of energy to you is not taking away from anybody else. There's more than enough to go around. And there's more than enough to bless those around you. And also the bigger picture being just the longevity of you, of your existence. Like the sooner that you allow yourself to be taken care of and to care for yourself first, the longer and more fulfilled and joyful your life will be. Howl at the moon. Process your feelings. That's this, right? Like, you have to process those feelings as in terms of why you have thought that this is selfish and how can you flip that script. So that is, again, it's very introspective. And allow yourself to feel all the feelings, allow yourself to feel selfish, if you will, without judging yourself for feeling that way. And then how can you acknowledge that and then instead reframe that to be that this is actually the most selfless thing that you can do. Your past supports your future. All right. So where in your past, and it honestly might be childhood, did you do whatever the fuck you wanted to just because it sounded like a good idea? Like, where in your past have you allowed your imagination to run wild and you were so filled up by that experience? Where in your past have you just gone and done whatever you wanted to do, whether it was like spontaneously or not, but you did something that you really wanted to do, and it was like the most amazing, phenomenal experience. Those are the memories as you process your feelings. Those are the things that you're going to want to call to mind to help you reframe this type of an experience so that you can get back to doing that and embrace who you are meant to be. Well, hot damn. Also, by the way, that's another part of NLP is we get into our power when we're going to shift those parts of us that hold us back. And one way to do that is to look at past experiences in which you felt the most powerful. So, all right, stack 3. That is your reading. I hope that it resonated with you. I hope that it has helped you. If so, please, please, please let me know down below. I love having those conversations with everybody. I'm going to bring all of our stacks back in here. Oops. As we wrap this up. All right. Well, this was a fun, again, like efficient, straight to the point. Y'all got some homework to do to take advantage of this new moon. If you're not catching this, by the way, on March 10th, that is totally fine. You do have a couple days to still work with this energy. So, and quite frankly, a lot of what we talked about can really be applied to any point in which you find this reading. It's more kind of potent, if you will. The energy is more potent right now, just with the new moon that we have going on. But I feel like every single one of these stacks has messages in it for you that are truly timeless. So don't worry if you have, found this reading in the future from where we are right now. With that, I want to remind you, if you do want to book a private reading with me, I do 1-hour sessions via phone or Zoom, whichever you prefer. I do have single sessions as well as a membership where for a little bit of a savings, if you will, each month, you get 1 credit for a reading. You can schedule it anytime in the month, based on my schedule, of course. But we can either set it up as like a recurring date each month, or you can kind of have it open for those moments when you really need clarity and guidance, and, schedule it right then. So that's a fun option to have that kind of like standing date, if you will, with your spirit team. So all of that information is down below. I will also link or list, I should say, all of the decks that I used in this reading in case you are interested in picking up any of them for yourself. And please make sure you're following me over on Instagram at Your Spiritual GPS. And lastly, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends and family. And I will see you guys in the next one, which will be for the March full moon in just a couple of weeks. All right. With that, I will see y'all in the next one.